the state primary and the Broken Arrow sales tax vote. So if you'd like to get more info on that, feel free to grab a sample ballot or take a picture of it. Before we get started, Christian will lead us into a prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we gather here today to seek your guidance and wisdom as we discuss matters important to our community. Bless this meeting with productive discussions and unity. Also, please guide our country through these times of need with these elections. Amen. So, I was going to give you a little small rundown of like what's going to happen. So, at first we're going to give a 3-minute introduction with each of the sheriffs. And then as we're going to get a softball question, and we're going to give 3 minutes to answer. And then I will give you each a 10-second countdown when there's, just to get time to wrap up. It is very loosely, but we do want to at a timely manner because we do end up at 7:55, right?
Yeah, 7:55 will get the last question.
So that's why, so we're on time crunch on there. And then after that, we will have, we'll open up for discussion with amongst the constituents here, all right? Oh, and then before that, we'll have Justin talk. And then, let's see. And then, and also, if you have any direct questions, the other two sheriffs will have a chance to comment. You'll get 2 minutes for that. So, any questions before we get started? All right, Justin, would you like to give a few sentences or a few?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys allowing me to come down and introduce myself. My name is Justin Hornback. I'm running for Oklahoma Corporation Commission. I know a lot of people kind of get that glazed over look when I say the name because they're not really sure what that means. And it's one race here in Oklahoma a lot of people don't pay attention to because even though they don't directly deal with the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, it is important because every decision made there affects your daily lives. They regulate rates here in Oklahoma, so utility rates, rail rates, they have to regulate pipeline, oil and gas, telecommunications, anything from cotton gin rates to tow truck rates. So when your car, if it needs to be towed from the highway, that's determined. That rate is set by the Corporation Commission. A little bit about myself, I'm from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. So I am a pipeline welder by trade, certified welding inspector, and safety man. Don't fault me for being a safety man, and a lot of people in construction don't like it. But the reason I point that out is because those two positions all about reading code and applying it to the job, which is exactly what the Corporation Commission is about. Oil and gas, pipeline, and utilities are probably the biggest industry here in Oklahoma, and one that everyone seems to have a tie to somewhere in the family, friends, community, what have you. I really want to bring transparency to the Corporation Commission and kind of increasing communication. So what I do, I've kind of stepped it up from other candidates, and I put my cell phone number on everything I print off. It is my direct line. You can give me a call if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out. When I'm elected, it should be that easy. If you have a problem, give me a call. I might not be the person to handle it. The commissioners, the divisions work under the commission usually address issues before they get to the commission. So, but knowing who to talk to and how to get that addressed is important. Like I said, May 24th, make sure that you get registered. If you know anyone that's 17 and a half, they can register. They just can't vote until they're 18. So get them on, get them registered, and take a look at the candidates. We got 3 running for the Republican for Corporation Commission. That's going to be at the top of the ballot on the primary because it is statewide. Other than that, I want to leave it to these guys. That's what's important.
And then I forgot to add, and at the end we'll have a 3-minute conclusion for each of you. So after that, let's go down the line.
My name is Jason Ricketts. I have been serving the community of McCurtain County now for 27 years. 20 years of that was in law enforcement. The last 7.5 years, I've served this community as a business owner. My business is in security. Started data security by myself with just an idea, and built that company up to where now we have over 1,500 clients. I have a staff of people working for me. I'm seeking your vote because I feel like it's a time for positive change in our county. We've been through a lot in the last 2 or 3 years especially, and I feel like this county needs to heal. We need some transparency in the sheriff's department, and we need some accountability. And it's time that you have a candidate or you have a sheriff that's willing to do that. I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. I'm fallible like everybody else here. But I promise you one thing, I'll always be honest with you guys. And if I make a mistake, I'll own up to it, and I'll be transparent about it. And I feel like my business in Coachtown, the security business I have, has thrived the way it has because that's the way I've always operated. I've never overpromised. You know, I've always just promised what I would do, and if I wasn't able to do it, I was honest and open with people. You know, tell me, I apologize, I couldn't do it, and this is what I can do. And if I've made a mistake, I own up to it. I don't think anybody expects me or anybody else to be perfect, but we do expect us to be human. We expect us not to lie. You know, the sheriff's department belongs to us. The sheriff's department is ours. They're public servants. And I think they've gotten away from that, especially here lately. And I want to return that back to the citizens of McCurtain County. And I hope that you guys give all 3 of us some grace up here tonight. This is not an easy thing to do. I'm nervous. I think the other 2 are too. We're in the hot seat here, guys. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. You know, I have a heart to serve the people. I've always had a heart to serve, and that's the reason why I'm running. I'm not running because I need a job. I'm not running because I want the title. I certainly don't need the stress that I've been under here lately. And I think we'll all admit that if I win, there's gonna be a considerable amount more stress involved in this in my life. So my only motivation is because I truly wanna serve the people of McCurtain County. And I really wanna give you guys back something that we've all been missing here lately. And that's just a servant, the heart of a servant, somebody who wants to serve the people of McCurtain County. And with accountability and transparency. And that's my goal. And I promise you that's what I will do.
Hi guys, I'm not the best speaker either. As all of us does, and all 3 of us work together. We've finished some 3 types of positions. No, we have, let's read something about what we have. Guys, here, basically my name is Kevin Clegg. I've been a lifelong resident here in McCurtain County. I've been a certified police officer since 1995. I've been the sheriff of McCurtain County since 2017, and I've spent the last 29 years as a public servant upholding the law in many capacities. Recently, allegations have been brought about in regards to my character, my agency, my ability to serve the citizens of McCurtain County. These accusations have been investigated and found to be false. The individuals making the accusations has testified under oath in federal depositions. While I stay firm in my beliefs, it is my duty as a sheriff and citizens to rebuild, reinstill trust and strengthen relationships between law enforcement and the citizens of McCurtain County, and it starts with me. I wish it was as simple as solving the crimes in the next commercial break, but reality, it takes time. With that being said, I will not be manipulated, bought out, or bullied into turning a blind eye to any crimes committed against anyone, anytime, anywhere. I will continue to do the next right thing and will protect my agency and the citizens of this county. I would never be my intentions to harm the citizens that I serve, only to expose the truth, and I want to apologize for the negative impact all these accusations have had on our community. The attacks on law enforcement across the United States is not only here in McCurtain County, though the trials and tribulations that my department is stronger than ever, and we will continue to rise above, serve, and hold the line. Not only have my employees stood firm at my side, we have grown as an agency. We started off, we have secured a new facility through the CARES Act funds that has cost $0 to the McCurtain County citizens. With this facility, it provides an ample office space for all the employees, including the training facilities, in conjunction with the only EOC or the Emergency Operations Centers located in southeast Oklahoma. All deputies are also cross-commissioned with the Choctaw Nation. We're also task force with Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Homeland Security on the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. We have secured a digital forensic software for analyzing data, which allows us to expedite cases and we also provide it to 2 surrounding agencies. We also employ 5 certified clean instructors, 2 alert instructors. We have numerous certified divers who are part of the emergency response dive team. We also have 6 trained.
Oh, we got time, but you can,
Okay.
yeah, if you wanna read.
Yeah, we also have 6 trained forensic interviews.
Thank
How
you.
much time we got?
Oh, we're a little over, but that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, you work it in the rest of the
Okay.
question and answer, but thank you.
I'm done, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the 3-minute mark.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mr. Shire?
Good evening, I'm Bruce Shirey. I'm Kennedy County Sheriff. I'm just gonna start with saying I'm not a politician by any means. I'm a local man who's been in law enforcement for over 20+ years. Working for the Broken Bow Police Department, the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office, these 2 guys here before in the past, and Oklahoma State Park Rangers for the last 10 years. You might be wondering why I'm running for sheriff. The simple answer, this is my county. I live and work here, my family lives and work here, as well as my friends. We have a lot of good people in our county, but unfortunately, through some things, not necessarily the sheriff's fault, but other things that's been going on, we've got a bad eye in the county. We've always kind of had that bad eye, but it's gotten worse here lately. I know our county is better than this, and I wanted to bring back integrity and respect to the sheriff's office. How am I going to do this? I really don't know, and I don't think anybody that's elected to the position will know until they get into the office. That's just being honest with you. I don't know what could be done, if anything, really. I do know that I would make some personnel changes for sure. Some things that I want to implement is a good working relationship with all of our law enforcement agencies here in the county. I think that's paramount to our citizens here in the county, is to all of us work together. All of us get on the same page and help solve these burglaries and all this other stuff that's going on that's affecting our citizens. We all need to work together for sure. Another thing that I have been told about before and have seen is people want a professional uniform. That's one of the biggest complaints that I've heard so far is they don't know who the deputies are. They don't know who it is from a regular citizen. They don't know. They want a professional uniform. They want to bring back, they want to have a professional interview done with the deputies that we're going to hire. Make sure that they're on the up and up. Make sure that that's who they say they are. I know before, in the past, in state parks, when we've done interviews and stuff like that, we have found out they wasn't who they claimed to be. They didn't get hired. So that's one thing I would like to do is professional background checks on our deputies. We need to know who is working for us and who's coming to your house to protect you.
Thank you, and at the end, we'll have 3 minutes to conclude, so if you all had more you wanted to say, you can position out there.
Right. So like I said, we'll give our first question and then we'll open up to the public, all right? All right, so we've all seen the ups and downs to this county. So my question to all of you is, what changes, if any, would you want to make within the sheriff's department upon election or re-election?
The first change I want to make right off the bat is, I believe our sheriff's department, where it's at now, is not very accessible to the citizens of McCurtain County. Up until last week, there wasn't even a sign out there. Last week, there was a sign erected. It's been 2.5 years since that sheriff's department's been out there. We haven't been able to find it. Not only that, when you go up to the front door of the McCurtain County Sheriff's Department, you've got a buzzer to get inside. I don't like that. I think that there are public servants that goes to them working for us. You ought to be able to walk in the front door of that place and visit with a human being and be met, and then your needs met by the personnel there. That irritates me personally. I know it's gotta irritate everybody else, and I want to read that. If you call our sheriff's department, you're met with an answering machine. That answering machine takes you to 2 or 3 prompts before you ever once again talk to a human being. That goes back to service. I want to get back to a heart of servants, a heart of servitude for this county. Our sheriff's department works for us, not the other way around. I think they've lost that. And another thing I would like to do, and it's something that I've campaigned on rigorously, is an oversight committee for the sheriff's department. The oversight committee to me is important because it goes back to accountability, and I want to be as accountable as a sheriff as I can be. And what that to me is gonna look like is gonna be five members will be on the board. They'll be selected by people other than me. My idea right now is to have the commissioners select one, which will give us 3, and the judges select one. And what these people are gonna do is have oversight over the reports, the investigations, and the discipline procedures of our sheriff's department. And they're gonna be answering to the public, to you guys. And I've been asked before on the campaign trail what it is that, or how can I guarantee you that I'm not gonna put my thumb on it and manipulate it? Well, that can be done by passing policy and procedures. And I assure you that if at any time I do go to put my thumb on it because I don't like what's being said, don't you think they're gonna let you guys know? And that's gonna make me look bad. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to take us back down the road that we've been down the last 2.5 years. I wanna be better than that. I think we deserve better than that. It's time we heal, and I want to bring that to this county. We need to heal. We need to move forward. We need to get past what we've been through. And I wanna be the sheriff. I wanna be the one that does that. Because our county deserves it. I mean, we've been embarrassed enough, and it's time we're known for the people we are. I mean, there's been a lot of times that we've seen disasters in this county, and the heart of this people has always been to get behind people in need, and that's what our county needs to be known for, is our heart, not what we've been known for. Thank you, guys.
Sheriff Garner?
Repeat the question, please.
Yeah. The question is, we've all seen the ups and downs of this county, so my question is to you is, what changes, if any, would you want to make within the sheriff's department upon reelection?
On the reelection, guys, we have, when I started 7 years ago, we was working off of a budget of about $326,000. We had, what I believe the thing, if you remember right, we had 13 guys. Right now, I've got 28 full-time certified officers. We've got 48 commissioned officers now. We've got the biggest agency McCurtain County's ever had. Changes I would like to see, and it's all about budgeting. I would like to see, we need twice as many deputies, but with that, it comes funding. We're stretched right now about as far as we can be stretched and still make payroll. Hochtown has been a tremendous asset to the county, but with that being said, we've had tremendous issues with that. Our agency right at the current, where you are taking somewhere between 1,500 and 16 calls a month. With that being said, I've got 5 guys on at any given time for the influx of the calls. We have preventive patrolling now. We've never had preventive patrolling. Even these guys, when we was all deputies together, we went from call to call, which is proactive patrolling. Right now, we've got the county split up in 5 different blocks with preventive patrolling, which increases our response time tremendously. What I'd like to see in the future, I'd love to see twice as many deputies than what we've got, because we need them. We are taking the same amount of calls as the city of Edmond. The thing about it is, we're doing it with 18 guys now compared to their 70. In the state of Oklahoma, we pulled stats, and their agency's taking comparable, the same amount of cost we are, but like I said, they're doing it with 70 guys, and we're still doing it with 18 now. And days has increased the last 2 years. We actually added 5 positions, was able to add 5 positions, within the last 5 years because of the revenue increase because of post sound. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. But yes, pretty much.
Thank you. Mr. Harris?
What I would like to do is, like the sheriff said, we need more deputies. That's, any agency is gonna say we need more police, but it's gonna come down to funding. One thing that I think we should do, or one position that I would hire, if elected your sheriff, is a person for grants. Find grants like we had before in the past. You know, that's a position that it's either gonna make you or break you, more or less. It's either make you more money to have more deputies, more vehicles, more gear, to help everybody here in the county. Definitely would like to do, FTO program, field training officer program, for the county sheriff's deputies, for the new hires when they come on board. It's a month long or 2 months long, or however long you wanna have the program. But it's to train the new guys, make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing right. Make sure the paperwork is complete and up to date. If they're building case files, make sure it needs everything in there that it needs to go to district attorney, to the judge's offices, to get warrants, or when you arrest someone, whatever, on their probable cause. Vehicles is another big issue. You know, that's something that I would like to do is eventually in the future, if elected sheriff, is do lease purchase agreements on county-owned vehicles, so that way when they get, any way we look at it, they're gonna be wore out by the time we get done with them. But if we could sell them, maybe get a little bit of our money back out of them. That's some of the things that I would like to do. Okay. Some other things that I would like to do or implement would be a school resource officer program, for all of our county schools here. You know, a part-time officer would be great. You know, I know at first he may only be at 1 or 2 schools a week, but over the years, maybe additional funding can be sought and get a deputy hired for every school, here in the county, which would be a great help, especially as rural as we are here in Oklahoma. You know, if something happened at Smithfield School or Baptiste, heaven forbid that it ever did, but if there wasn't a deputy up there, or a game warden, or a state trooper, or whoever, law enforcement wise, you're looking at maybe 30 minutes if a deputy, closest deputy was down here Broken Bow. You know, it's something that needs to be done.
You need a bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you. Any questions? You can do it by raising hands. Anyone?
No questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Our county's huge, huge. It takes a good 3 hours, as y'all know, to go from Watson on the border of Arkansas to Tom on the border of Arkansas. Driving speed limit, pending, you know, all that stuff. What's your plan to cover that area efficiently, to where you've got a quick response? How would y'all go about doing that?
I've looked into what the budget is for the sheriff's department compared to what was Johnny Tadlock. And I think Johnny, as most of us would probably admit, was arguably one of the best sheriffs our county's had. Johnny Tadlock's budget was actually more along the lines of $1.2 million with the 3 accounts he has. Our current sheriff's department's budget is more along the lines of $3.8 million, and that's in all 3 accounts. I think that money can be spent a lot more wisely. And I think one thing that I would like to do, and I've already visited with our county commissioner, is there's a building up there in Smithfield where the county owns, you know, I would like to put a substation up there. I think that we need to have, an annex office up there to serve the northern part of our county. It's something that we've never had, and I would like to give that to the citizens of this county. I believe that there's money to do that. I believe that we're wasting money. I think that, and I could go into, several things that we've seen that's been wasted on, and I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not gonna waste this county's money. I wanna put it to where it can be used. And there's money there to put an annex office up there, there's a building up there already. I think it ought to be used. I visited with our commissioner of District 1. He has told me that building right now is being used to work on, trucks that break down, and there's plenty of room in there to put an office space in there, to make room for some deputies, to make room for some office staff, and I want to do that. I believe the budget's there, and I'm gonna find a way to do it, because I think that response time is important. I remember one time I went on a call from Tom to Smithville on a fight call with a wife being beat up, and it took me an hour to get there with red lights and sirens. That was, traveling pretty fast. And you're right, it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get from one end of this county to another is not, especially with the traffic at Hochatown. That's another added stress we have on first responders. There's a building there, there's money there. If we just start spending it right, I believe it's doable, and I'm gonna find a way to do it, because our county, especially the north end, they deserve that.
Same question?
Yeah.
Currently, we've got 4 deputies that live on the north end of the county. We've had, full-time officers on the north end of the county for the last 7 years. They work a little bit different shift than what we do down here. They work 12 hours, but they're on call for 24. One lives at Bethel, and one lives at Smithfield. So we have deputies on the north end of the county 24/7. Talking about the substation, we have access to a substation, it's the old Bethel Fire Department, but we still have the keys to it. It's not being utilized because, and here's the reason why, because all of our guys has terminals now in their vehicles and do reports from their vehicles. So if we have a guy on the north end of the county that takes a report, it's uploaded immediately and into the Otis systems. So they don't ever have to drive down. The only time they have to drive down is when they, bring somebody into jail. So.
Thank you.
But
My thoughts on that is I have thought about it before in the past, and like the sheriff said, they all have terminals in their vehicles now, so if they're sitting on the side of the road, they can sit out and like a report out on the side of the road. But what I have thought about doing is we got 21 fire departments across this county. Why not have a deputy 1 or 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day to stop at those fire stations? Be visible for the county, for the community members to come by and talk to, meet somebody at the fire stations to take a report or whatever. But that was my ideas too, was, we got 21 of these buildings sitting across the county, let's use them, and they're all Smithville, but Tees, Pickens are all over. Use resources that we already have here available to us, if the fire departments would let us.
we do. The Bethel Fire Chief is also a deputy of mine. I'm on the Garland Fire Department with all my guys, like them, we got keys to the Garland Fire Department. We utilize some buildings. It's good. So, it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is we do utilize, even the Paula Fire Department, we actually do the Eclipse and the EOC, or the base of operations, we actually utilize the Eagletown Fire Department, the Paula Fire Department, and the Garland Fire Department. During that time of the eclipse, we was anticipating by what they was advising us, and the weather just didn't cooperate. So we had our office, which we had about 70 people from the state, including the Director of Homeland Security, Emergency Management was with us. We used our office, and it is an EOC, which is Emergency Operations Center, that we have incorporated with Emergency Management. And we've gotten some grant fundings and stuff like that. And what you was talking about a while ago with the grants grants are great, guys, 100% behind grants. The only bad thing about it is, and I'm not getting into the political realm of this, during the last presidential era, law enforcement grants have basically dried up. They've gotten fewer and fewer and fewer and harder to get. Now, we still do have a couple of grants that we do still work off of right now, but grants are harder and harder to get, and we don't have near as many grants applied to law enforcement in the state of Oklahoma that we once had 10 years ago.
Before,
I'd like to just add one thing real quick. So I think what these two gentlemen are missing here is what I'm really wanting to give to the county, and that's service. I mean, yeah, you're right, there are 4 deputies that live up there, there are terminals in the cars. What about whenever somebody is, especially elderly, doesn't get out of their house very often, they need a copy of a report, or they need to file a protective order, or they need to interact with the deputy? That's what I want to give to them. I want people to be able to go and get a copy of the report, interact with my sheriff's department in a building, in an office. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get, and that's what I'm getting at. I mean, it's service. I mean, yeah, you're right, our deputies have computers in their cars. They can respond, but most of the time they're at their houses. They can respond from their houses and get there. I want to give people the opportunity to walk into one of my buildings and talk to some of my staff and be able to reach me and say, this is what I've got a problem, can you help me with this? I need a report, can you help me with this? And have a place to come to me if they need to. A place to get reports, a place to file reports. You know, that's what I want. I want to be accessible to the public. And that's what we're lacking right now. And I'm not faulting Kevin, the north end of this county has never had this. I want to be the one to bring this to the north end of the county. And that's my goal, and I will do it.
Before we move to the next question, Bruce, did you have any additional comments on anything? Okay.
I've got a question for, I guess, for all of them, but I want you guys to look me in the eye and tell me, and I know that you mentioned in your original statement about honesty, transparency, and accountability. But obviously, we haven't had a whole lot of that in the last administration. It's been reported, it's been in our face, it's been all across the nation. Look me in the eye and tell me that you're going to provide accountability. You're gonna be transparent. I've never seen you in the restaurant.
What restaurant, sir?
I wanna be able to see somebody out talking to other people. I want to see interaction with local people. And I haven't been seeing that in years. And I wanna see a sheriff's department and a McCurtain County jail system that gets along with media. There's not one media in the county, there's other media. And I know there's Facebook, and I'm not talking about Facebook. There's another paper, nothing in that paper. So look me in the eye and tell me that you're gonna do something better and provide these people with service and honesty that hasn't been thrown at us. That's what I'm asking for.
Let me tell you, I thank you for your question, sir. And that is exactly where I'm coming from. I would agree wholeheartedly, we don't see the sheriff out in public, in the restaurants, in Walmarts. In fact, well, I don't know, maybe I could, but I'm just saying, I haven't, and I agree with you. And I agree, and that's part of my frustration is not only that we don't see him out, we also don't see our sheriff's department tucked away over there on the bypass where it's not accessible. I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, that they're trying to hide, but it sure seems that way. And I don't like that. They ought to be transparent, they ought to be accountable, and they ought to be in the public eye. And you're right, not only do they not get along with our current newspaper, and of course, they're gonna blame it on bad reporting or twisting of things, and that's neither here nor there. But there are other media outlets, you're right.
Yes.
And it's important to be transparent, which is exactly why I want the oversight committee. And I want to allow the media in there, because that's the only way that our county will truly feel like this sheriff's department belongs to them. And we haven't had that in a long time. And I want to give that back to the people of McCurtain County, because I love this people, and I love serving the people, and I want to bring that back to the people of McCurtain County. And I absolutely give you and everybody in here my word that I will do that.
Guys, currently, the sheriff's office is located at 2001 Industrial Boulevard. It's on the Army National Guard building. Love to see every one of you come out there. This is your building. This is your sheriff's office.
I've been
Mr. Ellis was, Jerry Ellis was at my office just the other day. I talked to him every week. We send reports to them, to every media outlet that wishes. We've got a list that we send reports to every week. As far as taking calls, I'm out there taking as many calls as my deputies do. They just don't know I'm the sheriff. My heart, in 1995, I started as a reserve officer. I have worked every aspect in law enforcement that a person could be on a county and city level. I started out as a reserve officer, then I became a patrolman at Iowa PD. I started out as a deputy in 2001 with McCurtain County Sheriff's Office. I'm a deputy, investigator, chief investigator, undersheriff, and now I'm a sheriff. My heart and soul is out there in the field with these guys, because that's where I'm at. 110%, 24/7, 365. Goes back to the point that right is right, wrong is wrong, period. You can't buy me, you can't bully me, and you can't have me cover up something.
But can you talk to you? No.
Absolutely.
No.
Come by and talk to me.
I've watched it, I've observed it, no. And nor your staff. You're the leader. You're the leader.
Come by and talk to me, sir.
You have set the pace, mister. You've set the pace in your department, and your department looks up to you.
Absolutely.
You set the pace, and your pace has not been good.
We're the only department that's still fully staffed.
Yeah, well, that's a big story too.
Is it?
Yeah.
We got 28 full-time guys. Iowa PD's got 606. Broken Bow PD is half-staffed. I haven't lost, in the last 2 years, I haven't lost a deputy. My guys stuck with me, they're 110%.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Bruce?
I'm definitely for the people of the county. I'm reachable 24/7. There's several guys in here that can call me anytime, day or night, and know I'll answer. One thing about your accessibility to the sheriff, I have thought about doing, if there's availability in the county courthouse, is to have my own office in the courthouse or building downtown, so that way people can come see me. Pick up reports and whatever they may need, they can come there and see me. But leave the majority of the deputies and everything out at the Armory building. That's a pretty good place for as many deputies and vehicles and evidence and storage. All of the other junk that comes along with the sheriff's office is a good place for it. There's plenty of storage out there. But definitely I have thought about having an office downtown in Idabel, so that way I am accessible to everybody.
Thank you. Any more questions?
I have a question. Is your salary, Kevin, is your salary still figured with COVID numbers and COVID tourism?
But I understand what you're talking about.
Like our COVID numbers and our tourism, like that's how your salary is figured?
My salary is based on Oklahoma state statute. All elected officials make the same amount of money,
Okay, how much do you make a year?
$50,000 a year. That's what I make.
I will add to that. I think it says a lot about anybody that wants to run for public office, that they're willing to serve the people for just $50,000 a year. Not only is it hard to just run for that office and get up before a group of people and ask questions like this, but just the office itself, to be a public servant for just, I mean, I'm not saying $50,000 is, you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's not a lot for what you're asking our public servants to do versus an elected official. You're an elected official, I'm sure you guys would agree with this. So it's a lot for what you're getting paid. I think most people have a heart of a servant to do this. I think that some people forget that and they get away from that. And that's what I wanna bring back to the county. And anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Mr. Shire?
Go ahead.
I think, Mr. Watson?
Yes, I have a question for all three. So we've been talking about transparency and communication with the public. You know, I've talked to Broken Bow PD officers, Idlewild PD officers. I actually coach, and this past summer, I was at Smithfield, actually. And we stopped at that store, me and my players, and some people hit me up at Smithfield, and they were talking about certain issues. So my question, and they were talking about accessibility, which I disagree with some of what was said a while ago about accessibility, because they were complaining about that. But my question is, as far as those relationships being broken, and they have been broken, they have. We can sit here and say they haven't, but they have, because I've talked to officers from these different departments. They've been broken. So how do you plan to fix that? How do you plan to mend that bridge back? Okay, what are your plans for that? And what are your plans on training, dealing with the public? Now, I saw a video of a guy getting arrested just because he called the officer the MF word on his own property. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's not against the law. You can't arrest anybody just because they hurt your feelings. You can't arrest nobody just because they call you the MF word. You can't. I saw it on video. I got it on my phone, actually. So that goes into training. How do you plan on training your officers to deal with that kind of stuff? How do you plan on training? What kind of training are you going to do? I mean, what are y'all's plans? I would like to know what all three of you have to say about that. Starting with the building of the relationship back with these other departments within the city. I think you hit on that earlier.
I would definitely like to rebuild our relationships with all of the departments here in the county. There's numerous local, state, and federal agencies here in the county. You know, we're going to have to do whatever we can to rebuild the trust. Whether it's sending deputies to help them on calls, or whatever it may be, we need to rebuild those relationships. And I don't have the answer on how to rebuild those relationships, other than just get out there and hard work and do the best we can do. Training, police standard is 25 hours a year. Now, as a park ranger, if you didn't get 60, 70, or 80 hours a year, that was your own fault. Because we had training every meeting that we went to, for whatever reason. It could be anything over mental health to somebody down out here in the park at a picnic table and we're taking cover to shoot back at them. You know, that's the type of training that we had, and I think it's, every law enforcement officer has to have training to be up to date on their standards, and help the people of this community.
Good. I'll go ask this time.
Okay. Or rebuilding relationships, we probably take as many calls in the city limits of other cities assisting them than because we also assist Wright City, Valiant, Hayworth, which is a one officer agency. Anytime, and all their offices is dispatched through our office. So anytime we send one of their guys to a signal light or a fight call, one of my guys goes and backs them up. In the same way, their guys do the same thing for us. Idlebow's half-staffed right now, Broken Bow's running about half-staffed right now. Just the other night, we assisted both agencies on other calls. State parks, we assist them all the time. As far as training, it's mandatory. League standards is 25 hours a year, plus two hours of mental health. I've got 5 fleet instructors.
My question, I agree with you. My question is, what are you gonna do to that officer that doesn't apply that does the total opposite? What are your plans on retraining him after that? Because if somebody distributes that type of behavior and they're not retrained, then you're just defeating the purpose of even having them on the staff. So what do you wanna do to retrain them? Because they have to be retrained. You can't just slap on the hand and say, hey, you can't just slap on the hand and say, hey, don't do that no more.
No, but you
You
can
know?
fire them, and that's what I've done.
You can what?
You can fire them.
Yeah, you can fire them, but I'm just saying, is that the old, I mean, you said you're short-handed.
And he
We're not
can shut
short-handed.
You just said you're short-handed, so what, I
We're
mean,
not short-handed.
I mean,
I'm
so,
full-staff.
I'm not saying fire everybody. I'm saying there's forms
If
of.
somebody violates somebody's civil rights, they need to
I
be
didn't say civil, there's forms of discipline you can go through with your officers. You can have a counseling with them and retrain them. Here's part of your, if it happens again, you're out of here. That's what
In fact,
that's my
we
question.
implemented, if we was in a violent situation and an officer involved shooting, as we was, I believe I'm the first sheriff that actually mandated that they get counseling before they're actually returned to work, which both of us did. Because we was in the shootout together back in 7 years ago. We take training very seriously. And the thing about it, we do a training out there every year. In fact, this year we haven't. We was initially gonna put on a reserve academy. We haven't been able to do that. We've been tied up on other things. And we got the election going on. I would like to do, another Cleat Academy. We have had, 4 reserve Cleat Academies, in training, and domestic violence training, and other trainings that are mandatory through our office that's not mandated by Cleat every year. In fact, we've got another one coming up at the end of June. We've got a 3-day training, it's in-house, that's gonna be put out to other agencies to attend our training. And they'll get all our mandated Cleat training, plus other advanced training that we've got. Just like Hendrix, he is I just went to, and I forget what it's called, but he just attended a de-escalation school.
Who did?
Hendrix. Just so that, I've got, like I said, I've got 6 guys that are Cleat instructors themselves, including myself.
They're laser trained,
Laser training.
laser,
Taser.
No, the laser class, the alert.
the what?
Taser.
It's called- We've got 2 alert trained, which is advanced law enforcement active response to
Still have gun training.
the laser.
Still have gun training.
Taser. For a taser.
Oh, taser?
Taser.
Oh, yeah, no, Eric Lewis was here a while ago. Huh?
We went through taser training 3 months ago.
We all went through taser training just 3 months ago on the X7s. We actually bought X7 tasers. Most of us has been all trained, and in fact, I was a taser instructor myself. It's lapsed on the X26 and M26. This has been years back when I was undersheriff. I was a taser instructor myself. I do have a guy that is a taser instructor who employed with us, and we just purchased 10 X7s, which is one of the newest advanced tasers. And the guys that are certified to carry tasers now are trained on X7 tasers, yes.
So the reality is our sheriff's department has lost the relationship not only with the newspaper, like you alluded to earlier, with the Idabel Police Department, the Broken Bow Police Department, Oklahoma Highway Patrol. I've visited with I have visited with Idabel, Broken Bow, and the district attorney's office. There's no relationship. And I disagree with what Mr. Bruce said there, that he doesn't know how to fix that. I do. It's called communication. It's called visiting with these people, the chiefs of police. It's called talking to those people, the administration. It's called hearing their needs, talking to them, having an open line of communication again. That's what it's about. Not only with the media, but with the other agencies in this county. And that's 100% what I'm going to do. And not only is it what I'm going to do, I've already done it. I've already begun visiting with those people and telling them, hey, if I'm elected sheriff, what can I do to help you guys patch up these relationships. And I've heard their complaints, I've heard their concerns, and I'm telling you, it's real. And I assure you, I will patch up those relationships. And as far as Mr. Watson, what you said about, what about training, that goes back to my oversight committee. That's exactly what I want that committee there for. It's for things like that. Let's say that somebody does come in with a complaint and says, this officer has arrested somebody for calling them an MFer or whatever. Then I'm gonna have a board of people there to say, this is what we need to do, and listen to what they say. Now, it's not saying I'm always gonna do what they want me to do, but they're at least gonna be able to report to the citizens of McCurtain County and let you guys know if they think I'm messing up. So therefore, I will be accountable, not only to 5 people that are gonna have absolute access to everything that I do, but also to the media and other outlets. Did you have a question?
After that
Oh,
one.
that's all I
When
have.
that one's done.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take your shot.
No, no, you're good. Bruce, would you add with any?
Yeah, Mr. Watson's question about the training part of it there. Part of the field training program is to identify weaknesses with officers and such. When I was the FTO at Beavers Bend, they would come to me and they would meet with me generally about 3 weeks. And in that time frame, if we identified any weaknesses in their training or their abilities, we would send them back through remedial training. And they had to, up to 3 times. If they didn't get through it the 3rd time, well then that was the end of the deal. They got sent home. That's what I would like to do at the sheriff's office. And if we get complaints on deputies, investigate the complaints to the fullest. If there is truth to the complaint, we'll then bring in the OSBI or the FBI, whoever it may be, to weed out those type of officers. And if they keep on, well then there's only one option, and that's to get rid of them. So.
Any additional comments from Kevin or Jason?
I'd like to make one comment to all 3 of them. I do not underestimate your roles, even as a security person. I think you said the last few years. And all of you, very important, and it's very dangerous. And I know you take it home. I spent 5 years in combat, so over in Afghanistan. So I know a little bit about that nature, and I'm building you up because I know that's a tough job, okay? But Lord help us, our county deserves better. Our county deserves better. And since I've been home since 2012, gentlemen, I've seen more lawlessness here than in places in Afghanistan. That's how bad it is. It's gotta get better.
Thank you, sir. We have time for 2 more questions, so maybe in the back and anyone else after that.
So you talked about building relationships back with other agencies, other law enforcement agencies. How will you rebuild the trust of this community? Because there are many people in this county who live out of city limits who will not call because they have lost trust in the sheriff's department. So how will you rebuild that?
I agree with that totally. I've visited with several people around the county. I've gone door to door talking, especially since I started my campaign, visiting with people. I know that that's real. Some people have preferred not to even call the sheriff's department. I've had other people say that they called and the deputy never even showed up. That's just gonna take time. I mean, it's gonna take time for the new sheriff, hopefully me, to prove that we are gonna be proactive. We are gonna answer when you call us. One thing that I would like to do that hasn't been done since Mr. Tadlock's administration is when I was a deputy back there in Tadlock, we were responsible for not only taking our own reports, but investigating our own reports and being more hands-on with the cases. And I want to bring that back to the citizens of McCurtain County. I think that would go a long ways towards showing the people of McCurtain County that we're here to do what we say we're going to do. And this is a new administration, there's a new sheriff in town, and things are going to be done differently. And we're here to serve the people of McCurtain County. That's not something that I don't think any of, me and Bruce, I mean, I'm not going to speak for them, but I don't think that's something that we can give you a perfect answer to. All I can say is time will tell, and I would like the opportunity to prove it to you. And I believe that I've shown you and have told you exactly how I would like to do that, and have laid out a path for that. And all I ask is your chance, and I will prove you that it can be done.
I have to agree with Jason on that. It's just gonna take time and hard work.
During the last couple of years, there's been a lot of miscommunication, lies, which we're still in civil litigation, on several of them, so I'm very restricted. And the county's attorneys, and other federal agencies have restricted things that I can talk about, because there's a lot of federal investigations going on, which I've initiated and I've worked with. In fact, we worked with the U.S. Marshals those down today. We have a good working relationship with most of everything, with all the with the FBI, with the U.S. Marshals. We're task force with the Department of Homeland Security, Choctaw Nation.
But with respect, my question was about the trust of the community. Like, how will you convince the community to trust you?
Time's fixing to tell, ma'am, because there's a lot of things, the lies and misinformation that was put out that's fixing to come to light on lots of things. And there's a lot of things that has been put out there that is fixing to be cleared in federal court. And guys, the thing about it is, there's a lot of, and I can't get into all of these federal investigations because the DOJ said I can't talk about it, and it's really misfortunate. It feels like it's tied my hands on a lot of things, because I want to talk about it.
You know,
Ma'am?
it seems like to me, it would be.
It's insurance.
So who's costing a lot of money?
All of these litigations.
You're, are you talking or?
County insurance pays for that.
It seems like to me though, Karen, you're dragging our county down. And I'm really surprised that you're running. And
Because I haven't done anything
well,
about
I'm really surprised you're running because, just like you said, you've got all these issues. All
I don't
these
have
court
issues,
cases,
those
and
people
these
got issues
lawyers
with
are
me.
telling you not to talk.
Yes, sir.
What, you're behind blinders, and so the whole county's behind blinders. And it's really getting old. It's really getting old. And it would just be a lot easier if you just mosey on down and let these guys, somebody.
Yeah. Would you resign, or would you?
Speak up.
I am speaking up.
I can't hear.
Okay. Would you resign or be falsely accused of something that you didn't do?
For the benefit of this county, for the benefit of the people, just like you said, you perform something, and I'm reading your body language.
Yes, sir.
Bully, don't be bullied. Every one of your deputies, and I've watched them on videos, they're carrying through your nature. They're watching you, Mr. Leader. They don't want to be bullied. Their first reaction is to overreact. Watch their videos.
I do. I watch the videos every day.
They overreact.
I've
For
got
the
some records
benefit
here.
of the county, for the benefit of this county, it would be better for you to
That's your
step
opinion,
aside.
For the
And
benefit of the
it takes a
county,
man,
there's
takes a
people
man
in
to
this
do it.
room that
We'll
have
let
been
Kevin respond and then
terminated
take one more
from
question,
their
and
jobs.
that will be concluded.
That would be benefit of the county.
I'm sorry?
People here attacking the sheriff, there are people in this room that have been terminated. So this is a full-on assassination for the sheriff, that he should step down. No, they were terminated from their jobs, and there's some of the reasons that we can't talk about things that go on around here. So people need to get the facts, and to address you,
Are you a lawyer?
no, I work at the sheriff's office, and 2 hours
The whole
into my
sheriff's
shift
department
this
here
morning,
tonight?
I took 3 calls.
Just like this?
A woman who was
What-
domestically
How
assaulted
do you bring
called and
this
asked
to
for me.
political- This is a political.
You're attacking people.
Ma'am,
I vote.
Ma'am, this is
You
a
won't even
political
call back.
activity.
I
You
vote.
work for the sheriff's
You don't
department.
have my phone number.
Well, I have a friend
Because
that does, and you won't return her phone call.
What's my phone number?
I do not have your phone number, but
All
my
right,
friend
well,
does.
we can talk about it more after.
You
we go.
can-
Well, if she works for the, listen, if she works for the.
I do, and I'm addressing her
and she's
question.
Telling people what to do and what not to do. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're off.
No, I'm not.
Well, I understand, sir, will you speak to one last question? And then
One last
we'll-
question, guys.
And then we'll, cause we gotta.
Alright,
This is a
so I
public
have
forum.
talked to you a little bit
Yes, sir.
first.
So-
That's the reason why everybody's got a right to speak.
We'll take a question from someone who hasn't asked one yet, and then
Yes,
at
sir.
the end, we can stay here till about 8:30 or
Yeah,
so.
we'll take our last question. I wanted to ask, did you finish your question
Yeah,
about the trust?
You wanna respond to anything, or?
We can go.
Okay.
Alright.
All right.
Any last questions?
I got a question.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, my question is, I know in some other counties, there's been some really interesting situations, conflict with the tribal police. What is the relationship of the county sitting with the tribal police currently? And what are y'all three ideas to make it go smooth going forward? Because I know that's probably gonna be a growing issue as all the McCurtain stuff filters through.
I could give you a quick story, I hope it doesn't be there in 3 minutes, I'll do my best. So, a couple of years ago, we had a call in my security gig where a young lady was sexually assaulted. The tribal police, it was a tribal member, was the female,